Now this one's a little bit different, ladies and gentlemen, than we normally see in terms of smartphones. I took delivery about 3.5 days ago of the Nokia 9 PureView. Now, on the front, it looks like your run-of-the-mill smartphone, maybe even looking like it's from 2018. It doesn't have some fancy pinhole camera, it doesn't have a notch, it's just a pretty straightforward, beautiful display with some decent specs, including the Snapdragon 845. It's not even the latest processor. But what makes this smartphone stand out from the rest is its insane 5-camera setup on the back, their car's eyes lenses, and I can tell you, this is probably the most interesting phone I've reviewed ever on this channel. Hey everybody, it's Andrew, and this is the Nokia 9 PureView with that insane 5-camera setup on the back, coming up. Want to see more videos like this? Well, why not hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit that notification icon. This way you'll be alerted every time I post a new video. And don't forget to check me out on my social media, especially Twitter, because that's where I post all the latest updates. Now you can pick up the Nokia 9 PureView at Best Buy. That's where I got mine. It's $549 if you activate it there, but $599 if you get it unlocked and you activate it yourself. I'm using it with my Google Fi SIM, which utilizes the T-Mobile network. This is an unlocked GSM phone for those wondering, so you can use it with AT&T T-Mobile here in the United States. Now, before we get to the unboxing, here's a quick rundown of the specs. What you're looking at is a 5.99-inch OLED display. It's actually really beautiful. It's got a resolution of 2880 by 1440. We'll go over that in a little bit. It's powered by the Qualcomm Snapdragon 845, not the 855, so that's pretty interesting. It's got 6 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabytes of onboard storage. There is no microSD card slot, there is no storage expansion, so keep that in mind. It has a 3320 milliamp hour battery, supports 18-watt fast charging, and it also supports fast wireless Qi charging, 10-watt, and we'll get to that in a little bit as well. And it has that really wild 5-camera setup on the back, their Carl Zeiss lenses. We'll talk about the cameras in just a little bit. But enough with the specs, let's find out what you get inside the box. Let's open it up. Opening the box, you're greeted by the unit itself. We'll get to that in a moment, but first you also get a headphone adapter because you'll need it to use it with these 3.5mm earbuds. They're actually kind of nice, really cool looking, and they sound pretty good as well. So I'm impressed at the $599 price point. You're getting some pretty nice earbuds thrown in the box. That's good. You get your SIM ejector tool as well as some documentation and warranty information as well. You get your USB-C cable and of course your fast charge adapter. We'll go over that in a little bit. Holding the Nokia 9 PureView for the first time, it feels premium, feels very high-end. I like its glass and metal design. It feels very luxurious. It feels expensive, actually, to be honest. And there's that wild 5-camera setup on the back. We'll go over that in a little bit. Of course, you get your dual SIM tray on the top, and you also get your metal buttons on the side. They're good to the touch, USB-C port on the bottom, and your mono speaker as well, earpiece, and of course, your 20-megapixel front-facing camera. Now this has an IP67 rating, making it dust and water resistant up to 1 meter for 30 minutes. That's pretty good. As far as the display is concerned, you won't be disappointed. It's a really beautiful display. It's a 5.99-inch OLED display. It's got a resolution of 2880 by 1440. That's an 18:9 aspect ratio, 538 pixels per inch, and it has a 79.7% screen to body ratio. That's pretty good. Now the design itself is a little bit of a throwback to last year's design, so keep that in mind. You're not going to get those bezel-less designs here. You're going to have something a little bit more of a throwback look, in my opinion. But you do get some really deep black, some very vibrant colors, and it's a very bright display, giving you the ability to use this in both indoor and outdoor use, and that's pretty good. And even better, it supports HDR10, so watching movies on the Nokia 9 PureView is excellent. It has level 1 wideband security, so you can watch Netflix in HD, and that's pretty good. And you can also watch YouTube videos in 1440p, and that's thanks to this beautiful OLED display. This is really a great media consumption device. It has some pretty slim side bezels, although it's not totally bezel-less, and you will notice the chin on the top and the bottom. Again, more of a throwback look. I actually kind of like this design. It's a little refreshing, not some pinhole camera or some notch. They went with a more traditional look, and I think that's pretty good. And with that 18:9 aspect ratio, it feels good in the hand. Managing it with one hand is not too bad. It's actually a pretty good fit. Now, because of that chin on the top, I was kind of hoping they would double the earpiece as a speaker to make it stereo sound, but that's not the case here, which is a little bit of a miss in my book. And despite it not having stereo sound, the mono speaker actually performed pretty well, getting loud. There was even a hint of bass, but again, stereo speakers would have been preferred. Now let's give it a listen. Nokia decided to go with the Snapdragon 845. That's last year's flagship processor, as opposed to the more recent Snapdragon 855 that we'd find in, say, something like the Galaxy S10 Plus. Now, as you can see from these results, it did very well, despite not being the latest processor, and it also has 6 GB of RAM, and that certainly helps as well. Everything seemed very snappy, very fluid, very fast. I didn't see any issues with it in terms of any lag, and you can definitely do some gaming with this without any issues. I didn't see any, and really the Android One operating system worked very well. You get a very stock Android experience. That means you're not going to get any kind of bloatware or any kind of crapware, and that's always good. And having Android One means you'll get all the latest updates as well as security patches from Google, and that's really good. Okay, so let's talk about that crazy camera setup on the back. Now, what we're looking at are 5 12-megapixel cameras. They're all Zeiss optics, all working in unison to hopefully give you some really exceptional photos and videos. Now, 2 of the cameras are 12-megapixel RGB sensors, while the other 3 are 12-megapixel monochromatic sensors. And there's a TOF, or time of flight sensor, which measures depth of field. Now here's something you need to understand. Now, because this is a different approach than other smartphones have taken, you're going to have more processing time because all those 5 cameras are working in unison. So for you to produce one image, they have to work a little bit harder than, say, other smartphones, which have less sensors, obviously. So it's going to take more processing time. So I've seen it anywhere from 15 to 30 seconds for one photo to be processed. Now, having said that, you can still hit the shutter and you will be able to take additional photos rather quickly. You're not stuck waiting for the processing to be done, but it will be rendering and will be processing in the background. So that's something to keep in mind. But despite that processing time, I think it's worth it because I think it produces some excellent photos in the right circumstances, of course. Now, one of the benefits of having those 5 sensors is you're going to get really good low light photography. And as you can see from these pictures, which were taken after the sun is already set, it actually looked pretty good. I think they did a really good job in terms of low light performance. But I'm curious to know what you think. Let me know in the comment section below. Keep in mind, these are untouched photos, so I haven't done anything to these photos. These are straight from the Nokia 9 itself. Now, to give you some perspective, here it is against the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. Now, as you can see, the image on the left taken by the Nokia 9 PureView is more true-to-life colors than the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. Now, both are very good images in my opinion, and both take a very different approach to how they want to get to those images. But again, this is a matter of personal preference. I actually like the Samsung S10 Plus. I don't necessarily like it better than, say, the Nokia 9 PureView. I just think this is a very interesting approach, and I'm just curious to know what you think. Again, let me know in that comment section below. And having 3 of your 5 lenses being monochromatic, you're going to get some really good black and white photos. These images, I think, are really good. Let me know what you think about these as well. I'm really happy that these have dedicated lenses that are strictly monochromatic, and that, to me, produces some really interesting images. Now, it does have a portrait mode, or what they call bokeh effect, and it does work really well. And I guess having those 5 sensors really helps, and certainly helps to have that TOF sensor for the depth of field. And as you can see, I thought these images were actually really good. And what's also good is you can actually change the depth effect after the fact. After you've already taken the photo, you could do it in Google Photos, and that's even better. You could also shoot panoramic shots, which I think came out pretty good as well. Okay, it's 6 p.m. Pacific time, and this is the video on the Nokia 9 PureView HDR 4K. Now, I'm not sure what's really going on with that clicking noise that you heard, so I'm not sure if it's a software bug that can be fixed via software update. Hopefully that is the case. Now, as far as image stabilization is concerned, there is no OIS or optical image stabilization, but it does employ electronic image stabilization, and to be honest, not very good. Now, this can maybe be remedied via software update. I'm going to sideload the Open Camera app as well as the Google Pixel camera for my long-term review, but this initial review, as you can see, there is not very steady shots here, and that's a little bit disappointing, to be honest, and the video I think could be better. So hopefully via software update they can address these issues. So this is the Open Camera app, 4K UHD enabled, and image stabilization checked off in the settings. I think it's a little bit better. So I guess it's hardware based. We know that the Snapdragon 845 is capable of image stabilization, so it might be just a software thing. And as you can see, the clicking noise is still there, but you do definitely see image stabilization better with the Open Camera app. As you can see, I'm walking, less jitter, a little bit more smooth. Not perfect, but definitely better. The Nokia 9 PureView has a 20 megapixel front-facing camera, and I think it's actually pretty good. Good for selfies, good for portraits, and the like. So I really think it's a pretty decent camera. Now, the front-facing camera also can shoot 4K video, which is not the most common thing you find in a smartphone, so that's pretty good as well. So this is the front-facing camera on the Nokia 9 PureView. It's UHD, also could do 1080p. I want to know what you think about it. Let me know in the comment section below. As you can see, it's a windy day here in Las Vegas, so I want to see how the audio picks up the wind here. Let's see if there's any kind of noise cancellation. Let me know in the comment section below. One thing I want you to be aware of, there are some software bugs that I found with the native camera app on the Nokia 9 PureView. It did crash every now and then, so that was a little bit of an annoyance. Hopefully that will be addressed sooner rather than later via software update from Nokia, and I think it can be addressed. These are just things that I think they will iron out as time goes on. So I've had the Nokia 9 PureView for about 3.5 days or so I really can't give you any conclusive battery life as far as comparing it to some of the other flagships in this category, but I can tell you so far you're looking at about all-day battery life, despite the fact that it's on the smaller side in terms of battery size. It only has a 3320 milliamp hour battery, but so far I'm looking at around a full day's worth. Again, you'll be using that camera a lot. That will certainly take a hit, especially with that processing power for those 5 camera lenses on the back, but overall I think it is an all-day battery, and you will be charging it at night, so just keep that in mind. The good news is you have a few options when it comes to charging. It does support fast 18-watt charging as well as wireless charging using the Qi standard, and it's also 10 watts, so that's good as well. Of course, I will give you all the battery numbers as well as the charging times in my long-term review, so stay tuned for that. There's an in-screen fingerprint reader, which worked okay. Setup was okay. I wouldn't say it's the fastest thing in the world, and registered my finger pretty much every time I used it, although not the best I've ever seen as far as in-screen fingerprint readers are concerned. And it does have face unlock, although it's not the most secure in the world, and it's not going to use 3D face recognition as you'd find in, say, something like the iPhone XS or the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. So far, I'm very impressed with the Nokia 9 PureView. Although it's not perfect, I think they're onto something here, and I can't wait to see with a series of updates to correct some of the shortcomings what it can do. It's got a lot of potential for sure, especially if you're into digital photography. And hopefully they'll correct some of the software issues I was experiencing, especially during the video shooting, as these are things I think can be fixed via software update. So that's the good news. I'm going to hold off giving it a final score until they update this and iron out some of these bugs. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt because I see the potential in this in the long run. So what do you think about the Nokia 9 PureView? This insane camera setup is really something interesting and different. I like where Nokia is going with this, although it's not a perfect execution, but I think they can correct some of the shortcomings with software updates. So the potential there is for this to be an excellent smartphone when it comes to camera photography and potentially for videography as well. But getting back to these cameras, I'm really happy with the output. Yes, it does take longer to process each image as there are 5 lenses that come together to produce one image, so it will take some time. to get you that image. But again, the shutter speed is good. You can still take photos while it's processing in the background. Now it does run the Snapdragon 845. Again, this is not the most current flagship processor. That would go to the 855. This has the Snapdragon 845. Perfectly fine, especially when you pair it with 6 gigabytes of RAM. Everything worked fine. And I really like its 5.99-inch OLED display. It's got some really deep black, some very vibrant colors. And watching Netflix in HD is really great because it has level 1 wideband support. You can watch 1440p on YouTube, and that's always great. Excellent display. Now, you're not going to get the pinhole camera. You're not going to get the bezel-less design. You're not going to get a notch. You get a more traditional look. And that to me is fine. Now, Nokia is saying that this is a limited edition. So once this run is sold out, you won't be able to get any more. At least that's according to Nokia. And I picked mine up from Best Buy. It was $5.99 unactivated. It's a GSM unlocked phone, so you can use it here in the United States on AT&T T-Mobile. And of course, always check with your carrier to make sure the supported bands are there. I'm using it with my Google Fi SIM, no problems. It utilizes the T-Mobile network. I'm getting fast 4G LTE speeds, LTE Plus on it, so that's always good. It's also showing voice over LTE, even better. Now, overall, I think this is a very good buy, and I have no hesitation recommending it if you can find one. This wasn't easy for me to find at Best Buy. I had to hunt one down. Thank God I was able to get one, so I can bring you this review. Again, I want to know what you think. Let me know in the comments section below. So please hit the like button, please subscribe, please share this video. Don't forget to leave a comment in that comment section below. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know if there's a device or something out there you think I should review. I'll do my best to try to make that happen. Don't forget to check me out on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, and of course my website, AMDtechreviews.com. So until next time, this is Andrew from AMD Tech. See ya.